It's not only okay to be angry after divorce, there's a period of time where it's actually important for most people to get angry. Anger serves a really important role in the healing process, and that's what we're going to tackle in today's video. I'm Rachael Sloan. I'm a divorce coach for men, and anger has been something I have had to confront and really learn to embrace in working with my clients. And that did not come naturally to me at first. I've always been someone who avoided anger, my own and other people's. I avoided conflict. And it took me a while as I was coaching to really learn to appreciate what anger does for us. I have now come not only to respect, but to really value anger when it shows up in my clients, because I know what an important role it is serving in their healing journey. If you're not already part of this channel, please subscribe, turn on notifications so you get my new videos, and let's talk about anger. I see anger playing two main roles in our lives. One, it lets us know when an essential boundary has been violated so that we can say no, stop, back off, and protect ourselves. But anger also helps us reconnect to our sense of self after we've been wounded in a relationship. And this is why it's such an important part of the healing process, because without it, it is very easy for people to get lost in despair and depression, and that can be dangerous. There's a very high rate of suicide among divorced men in particular, and anger can be a powerful antidote to the risks of depression and despair. To really appreciate what anger does for us, we have to understand what happens when you're injured in a relationship. When we're wounded and being rejected by somebody that you are sharing your life with, your life partner, that is a wound. That is an injury. It's an emotional injury. When we're wounded emotionally, there is a natural detachment from self that happens. Humans are wired for relationships. We are built for connection. We depend on our relationships for our very survival. So the desire to be close to other humans and to feel intimately connected to them is really core in our physiology. In fact, a lot of studies have shown that without physical touch and interaction, that mammals of all species not only don't thrive, but can even die. Being in relationship is one of our basic needs, right along with having enough to eat and drink and shelter. When one of the central relationships in our lives is severed, that is a major threat. It is a big wound that we suffer. Our whole physiology responds to that. And then our brain starts trying to make sense of it, because relationships are really important. And if we need relationships in our lives, then we have to figure out what happened in this one, what went wrong. And naturally, we're drawn to one of two possibilities. Either it's my fault or it's that other person's fault. In my experience, every single person's brain considers both possibilities. And when we start to consider that it's my fault, that I am the problem, then we start to slip into shame, regret, guilt, even despair or hopelessness, especially if we have been injured before, if we have been rejected before, if we have been abandoned before, if we have other relational wounds. It's very easy for the brain to decide, well, you must be the problem. I am the one who is wrong. I am at fault. No one is going to love me. I'm not going to have these relationships that are so important in my life. That self-judgment, that self-criticism is a detachment from self. In many ways, it is a betrayal of self. In response to rejection by somebody else, many of us begin to reject ourselves actively. Dr. Gabor Mate gives one definition of trauma as being the experience of detaching from self in response to a painful or traumatic event. And that is what's happening. I've been injured and now I'm rejecting myself. I'm betraying myself. There is a separation from me and who I actually am. I don't want to be me. I don't like me. And I become disconnected from myself. This is where anger becomes so critical. Anger is a powerful resource, a powerful emotional resource for reconnecting with self. Another way to say this is that anger is a powerful vehicle for restoring our self-confidence, our self-esteem, and our self-worth after we've been badly damaged. Anger lets us get mad at the other person. It lets me blame you instead of blaming myself. It lets me reject you instead of rejecting myself. There was a time earlier on in this work with my clients as a divorce coach where I would try to work with my clients when they were angry. And I would try to help them see the entirety of the situation, that she's not at fault, but neither are you. And I would ask them to step back and see the bigger picture and understand her perspective and theirs. And I've realized that that's not helpful at that stage. That's not what that person needs, because in that moment, they are detached from themselves. They are rejecting themselves. They are not safe enough within themselves to step back and consider the bigger picture. In that moment, what that person needs is a lifeline to their sense of self. And I have come to realize how absolutely essential this is, because without that lifeline, it is so easy for people to slip away into depression and despair. And that is dangerous. It is life-threatening. So what I've learned is that when a client comes to me and they are angry at their ex-wife and they hate their ex-wife, that's okay. That's a good thing. That is their brain fighting to bridge the gap, to reconnect them to their own value, to their inherent worth as a human being, to their sense of self. So I don't meet that anger anymore with criticism or judgment. I don't try to talk them out of it or get them to see the bigger picture. I help them embrace the anger. No, we're not just going to bash your ex and blame her, but we are going to appreciate what that anger is doing for you. We're going to listen to what it's telling you, because it's saying, hey, I'm worth fighting for. Right? You can't do this to me. She can't do this to me. It's not right. I don't deserve this. I deserve better. That is the part of you that says, I am worthy. I deserve to be here. I want to be here. I want to live. I deserve love. I deserve good relationships. I deserve to be happy. We need to nurture that voice, that part of you that knows that you matter, because that's what anger is. Anger at its most basic level is there to tell you that you matter. And after you've been injured in a relationship, you very, very much need to know that you matter. So I'm going to tell you what I do with my clients when they're angry at their ex-wives, because if you're in this situation, this is what you can do as well to keep yourself moving forward and healing. If you notice that you're angry at her, that you're blaming her, that's great. That is the voice that says you matter. But instead of just focusing on her, let's allow that voice to focus on you. We want to amplify what it's telling you. It's reminding you that you're important, that you're a good person, that you have things of value to offer in the world. Tune into it. What is it telling you? Is it saying, I deserve better? I shouldn't be treated this way. I deserve something better. I deserve to be happy. Embrace that. Find the message of self-worth in your anger and amplify that. Don't waste the energy of anger trying to get back at your ex-wife or trying to make her see how good you are. Instead, embrace all of the energy of anger and use that to amplify that message to yourself. Use it to help the rest of your brain remember that you matter, that you're a good person, that you deserve better. Whenever I start working with somebody who is angry, I know that what we need to focus on is helping them reattach to their sense of self, to stop rejecting themselves, to stop judging and criticizing themselves. That person needs help reconnecting to a sense of self-worth, self-confidence, simply to know that they matter. The really, really cool thing about this is that if we focus just on that, if you just focus self-worth, self-confidence in response to anger, you are going to hit a point where all of a sudden you don't need the anger anymore. When you reattach to yourself, remember that emotional wound causes a detachment from self. Anger is helping pull you back. When you get there, when you reattach to yourself, when you accept yourself, when you, I'm going to use the word love yourself, but when I say love yourself, I don't mean just like light, fuzzy love. I mean full love. Full love is the intentional choice to treat yourself or someone else with care, affection, commitment, respect, and responsibility. Right? When you reattach to self, you are respecting yourself. You are taking responsibility for yourself, and you are committing to yourself. When that happens, that attachment to self, that love of self, the anger goes away on its own. And this is my absolute favorite thing about coaching. I love this part of my job because when this happens, everything changes. I don't need to tell you about forgiveness. You start coming to me and telling me about forgiveness. I don't need to tell you about the next relationship that's possible and how that's going to look and why I know it's going to be okay and you're going to find somebody. You start telling me about your next relationships. You start telling me all of the good things that are coming. My favorite part about coaching is that the moment somebody starts to really reconnect with self, I stop being the coach and I get to now be the recipient of this person's amazing wisdom. Because when they reconnect to self, they also reconnect to all of the resources, all of the experience, and all of the wisdom of their higher self, of their best self. And that is the moment when clients come to me with all on their own, a totally different perspective towards their ex-wife. And they'll be like, I actually really get some of what she was going through. And, this happened even before I met her. And she's carrying this trauma from her childhood. And you know what? What she did to me wasn't right, but I can also see her perspective. And honestly, at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter because this isn't about her. And this is where I'm going to go with my life. And, I'm realizing that I have enough love and that there is more love and that I am excited to reach out. And, I've started dating. Right? Everything starts to turn around with that reconnection to self. And then that person becomes their own best coach. They become very, very capable of knowing what is best for them, what they need next, and how to move forward into the next stages of their life. So anger is not your enemy. It is not something that we need to beat and force you into forgiveness or a broader perspective. Anger is an energy that we can embrace, and we can use it to help you reconnect to self. And when you do, all of these other questions, right, about how to deal with your ex-wife when she's being difficult, about whether or not to forgive her, about dating and your next partner, all of that is going to become very, very manageable when you come back to yourself. That is why anger is so important. It is such a valuable part of healing. There are other ways to reconnect to self. Some people don't go through deep anger, although most people, in my experience, even if they start out with a lot of equanimity about their divorce, have some anger that comes up at some point. But there are other ways to cultivate that sense of self-confidence, self-worth, and self-esteem. Anger is an incredibly powerful one. And whenever I see somebody who's really angry, I know that that's what their brain is trying to do for them. It's trying to help them reattach to themselves. And when they do, they are going to have no trouble whatsoever moving forward. So if you're angry, embrace it and trust that when you reattach to yourself with respect and care, that you will naturally move past that anger and move forward with your life. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please leave me a note in the comments. And let's get a conversation going about anger and its role in healing, because the more that we can talk about these things, the more that we can share our individual experiences, the more we can help each other really thrive in our lives and in our relationships. If you found this video helpful, then you have to check out my free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. In that hour-long masterclass, I go into way more detail than I can cover on these YouTube videos about how specifically to start to heal, to stop the painful emotions, regain your confidence, and take back control of your future. I break it down into steps and give you a lot of actionable items that you can start using right now today to start feeling better. You'll find the link in the video description below under free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. I hope to see you on the masterclass and in the next video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.